So, what's up? Welcome, Aaron. Podcast 55.
55?
Yep.
I thought you did more than that already. Is it only 55?
It's only 55.
Oh. I don't know why I
It
thought you were like in
feels-
the 70s.
Yeah, soon. But, I mean, it does feel like we've been at it for a while, and I guess it's been probably like, I don't know, a year and a half.
Oh, well. Yeah.
Yeah, we started in Eric's house.
Oh, that must have been fun. We should all have like a certain year anniversary back in Eric's house.
Yeah, that's
Like
a
a
good
party.
idea. Yeah. No, actually, I think that
He should cook for us too.
we'll have Inga cook for us.
No. Eric has to cook. Inga doesn't know.
She does do a lot, but are you sure you want to eat food that Eric's
I didn't say I was going to eat it. I said he's going to cook it.
Actually, there is a video out there of Eric cooking on our YouTube channel.
I'll have to look for that.
It's a good one. It's
I
pretty
might
good.
eat that.
Yep. What's up, man? How you been?
Oh, living life.
Living
Good.
life.
Yeah. How's
Good.
your life?
Good, man. Everything's great. Yeah, things just keep moving along
In a positive way.
in a positive way, right?
Yeah.
You know, positive thoughts, positive life.
For the most part.
For the most
For
part,
the
yeah.
most part.
Yeah, it doesn't always work like that,
No,
but
no. Not at all. But as long as you stay positive, and define or go against whatever else is happening, then, you're in the right direction, right?
we're all on the right direction. So you took a little mini vacay, huh?
I guess you can call it that. Yeah, it didn't feel like a vacation though. I could have gone longer somewhere else.
Sure. Where'd you go?
The Poconos, Whitehaven, up
Uh-huh.
there, over there, wherever it is.
Right.
What was that, 4 days? Yeah, about 4.
Well, it seemed like 2 weeks for me because I had to
Right.
take all your
Well, because you would have worked
clients.
more. Yeah, it was about 4 days, which was fine. The first day was like the only fun and exciting day, and then the days after that were kind of like fill-in days of just time. So after that first day, it was kind of like, yeah, I think I'd rather be back home and I could work again and have something to do. But it was good. It was good to not have to work or not have to think about it.
Yeah, just take some time off, right?
Yeah.
A mental reset a little bit, even though you were with
A little
family.
bit. Although it wasn't a full mental reset, but it was part of one. Toward the being in that car, that was a good mental reset.
Oh, being in the car.
Yeah.
Because you love cars.
I do. I like cars. Plus, it was like one of those. Not that you don't have to think, because of course you can't go off the track. So you kind of have to think a little bit, but it was that like blissful adrenaline kind of thing, where like you just were just zoned in, not thinking about anything else, and just enjoying that moment. You had the wind, you had the sound, and it was like at home.
So you were racing cars, or a car?
Yeah, it was an open track with some instructors, other people on there as well, and you had 3 laps to pretty much do whatever you wanted to within safety, of course. In these $100,000 cars, and just go as fast as you want, as long as you don't go off the track.
Wow. And what were you racing?
Audi R8.
Ooh,
Audi
that's a
R8.
slick car.
It is. Good
Was it
old
like?
V10.
Was it like? Yeah. Okay.
About 620 horsepower, I think.
Oh, that's it.
I mean, that's it. It's quite a rush. Up there in my top, maybe top 3 of like favorite cars of like all time and everything. So we were actually supposed to take a different car, one that I didn't want to take, because I didn't like the car as much. But then when they got there, they said that they unfortunately didn't have that car available, so we were upgraded to the Audi, which is one of my favorite cars. So I'll take it. Much better than the one that we were going to be in.
Nice. That's good.
So it kind of worked out.
Yeah. So did you hit like 0 to 60?
No, there was no like launch or like takeoff or anything, because there were like other people doing like the same thing, so we just kind of entered the track and then kind of also avoid and then watch out for like other people. There were 2 small like straightaway sections, I guess. One, I think I got up to like 90 in it, which is like impressive, I think, because it was small, but but it had some turns, and the instructor was very impressed with the fact that through the entire day I was the only person that held that speed during like those corners and everything. So he was kind of like giving me props for that, which made me feel kind of good. And then there was another bigger straightaway, which I think I got to like 115 on, which I want to go more, of course. But if I did, I would have gone probably to a different city because like a sharp turn was coming up. So I just went right off the track. So because they had like cones set up to where like you can accelerate here, and then at this distance you should start to slow down because of this turn, stuff. So there's kind of like a little bit of like you can't actually go full bore, because you don't want to actually
Go off
crash
the track, yeah.
go off the so they had these safety things, but like within those parameters, like you could kind of push it as hard as you felt comfortable doing.
So how fast are you taking the turns?
It depends on the turns. Some are like really really sharp, kind of like hairpin, like instant turns. Some are a little bit longer. I think the slowest turn was like maybe around like 30 or 40, and then all the other ones were kind of like above that. You kind of like really have to trust like the car itself, which is like the hardest thing, weirdest thing was to like not want to slam on the brakes and kind of just allow it to coast through these, and like let the car actually, move through the turn smoothly, and then just gas it out there at the end. It's really fun. I plan on doing it again next year, so.
Okay.
Different spot though.
Yeah.
Different spot.
Well, that's fun. That was a fun little trip.
It was. It was. I still think about it every day.
Really?
I'm driving in my car. I'm like, man, this isn't as fast. It's like it's not. Like I'm taking turns. Like this doesn't handle the same. Of course it doesn't. But
sure.
I think.
But you'll get back there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Maybe that'll be your one of the cars you drive every day or every other. When the weather's nice.
If I can afford it.
Soon enough.
You want to pay me $200,000 for it?
Okay, maybe one day. We plan on growing and helping a lot of people.
Okay.
All right, good. So yeah, all right. We're talking a little bit about cars and the power of cars, and today we're actually going to talk about the power of the core.
Whose core? Your core?
How's my core, by the way? By the way, Aaron is training me for the first time. I have.
Not the first time. I mean, we've
no,
for a while.
Yeah, for a while. It's been what, like 4 months?
Oh, when did I start? Because it was shortly after that. I think it was maybe like a month or so after I started, right?
Yeah. But so, anyways, it's been a while, and it's the first time in my life that I've been trained by a professional.
By someone, by someone other than yourself.
Someone other than myself. And I'll tell you, I mean, it is nice. I mean, first of all, the benefit is I don't have to worry about creating my own plan, my own workout. Like I'm doing that enough with some other clients, and for yourself, you just kind of want to see what someone else comes up with and just sit back and coast.
Yeah,
like
for
the car. Yeah,
you're kind of in that client's, shoe for once, where like you're showing up to a place, you want the results, you don't care how you get them in a sense, you just gonna walk them.
Right. Right. Head down and then just follow the path.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, just don't question anything. Just do it, and just that's it. I like it. It's fun.
Well, the real question is, would you give me a good review on Yelp?
I would. I would give you 5 stars out of 5.
Otherwise, we'll be changing up your program.
No, it's been great. I'm feeling stronger. I mean, my goal was to build strength, and it takes time to do that. But I'm noticing a difference.
For sure. I'm getting a little more comfortable with the bigger weights, bigger numbers, getting everything up there, near or getting to the point where you can feel comfortable in every lift, within the like 200 pound range, which is a good feeling.
Yeah. So the goal is 3x my body weight in deadlift, and I mean it would be nice to 3x in bench, but we're quite a ways away from that.
I think the vast majority of the population is far from that.
Yeah. What is a good bench press versus like weight? You think, if there's such a thing?
I mean, kind of like relative,
Yeah, it's
like,
all relative.
For it is if you have the strength goals, if you're talking about reps, height kind of plays a big factor into it as well. A lot of body composition and everything plays like a big role in it as well. I think there's still kind of like a stigma, in the sense of like health and fitness, where it's if like a certain individual who weighs X amount and is as tall and works out a certain amount of days, like they need to be lifting this much weight to like be considered like an actual like gym, goer, and like
Mhm.
if they don't, then they automatically don't know like anything about working out. It doesn't work that way at all. But
Right.
people kind of like really hold that strength and physique kind of thing on like this really big pedestal of like you have to have it this way to know what you're doing, and if you don't, then it means that you don't know,
Yeah.
which is completely not how that works at all. And
Right.
it's only kind of getting worse and worse as I'm seeing.
Yep. Yeah, and like today's topic, strength training is not just about, oh, let me 3x my body weight because I can brag. Like, we literally need to strength train. And today's topic is the importance of core strength specifically. So, we're going to cover this topic because, a lot of our clients that come here, they have some pains, right? And usually it's what? It's like lower back pain, it's neck
Lower back,
pain.
knee pain, just aching all over shoulders.
Hmm.
You know.
And a lot of that could be because of weak core, right?
Could be with core, just sedentary living, not being active enough, a lot of sitting, watching TV, working, driving. We're all kind of like sitting. Like when you think about it, like even like right now, like this is like the shorten of like the hamstrings,
Mhm.
So like the whole time everything's just so like short and tight.
Yep.
People say that for hours, and then they wonder why they're kind of like tight and achy and sore.
Yeah.
They never get that lengthening in it anymore.
Yeah, because it's pulling on the spine, it's pulling on all that, and
Hold
then
on, everything.
yeah. So, okay. So what is the core?
Core is
Core is
everything.
everything.
Every single thing. You see that? It's the core. Core. I mean,
It's the core of everything, right?
literally
That's why
is
they
like
call it.
It's your entire torso. And I know a lot of people don't understand and ignore the fact that the core is not always those 6 or 8 little muscles in the front. It's also on the side and in like the very, very back as well. It wraps everything. It wraps around everywhere. People will span out crunches and leg raises every single day, but completely forget the back side of the core.
Mhm.
And then they still don't actually ever get it anywhere with solving their pains or strength issues. I don't know why. It's always forgotten about. It's always forgotten that it's this like big capsule that holds everything in. People just only ever want to focus on that aesthetic visual part of the like washboard abs.
Right. And it's not that. It's everything.
It's not. It's everything. It's even deep inside too. It's not even just the front there on the top. It goes deep inside, which certain muscles that you can't really train by doing like any sort of core quote unquote exercises, other things that you have to do to train them like bracing wise, which is why big compound lifts are good for that and stuff. But other than that, I mean, the core is your entire entire torso. The like, biggest part of you almost.
Okay.
Essentially.
So it's definitely important.
Oh yeah. Important for everything.
Yeah.
Don't you like having a stomach?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it's not like you said. It's not just about the physical. Let's have a 6-pack abs. It's literally like back pain, like eliminating back pain, eliminating a lot of pain. Even when I used to, my previous career, sit a lot, I would notice some days I would have this back pain, and that it's gone now. It's totally gone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were a lot more sedentary just throughout your day. Than
Yeah,
you
right,
yeah.
right.
I think there's also still this weird idea, which I guess it's not necessarily weird in a sense, that like if somebody has like a 6-pack and then there's somebody next to them who doesn't have a 6-pack, like they almost think that you have to work your core to get that 6-pack. Like those muscles are there even if there's fat there. Like you just can't see it. You don't work out the core to get those muscles to like show. Like they're always there, like no matter what.
Right.
It's just depending on how much fat you have there. So even if you don't work out your core at all and you lose weight, you're still going to see those abs. But people think that they have to have this massive big core routine to have those abs like pop. It doesn't like
that's not how it works,
like,
right?
The muscle's there, like when you're born. Like it's
Mhm.
always there. It's just making it stronger and more stable and more, or allows you to do more things in other forms of life, whether it's other sports or daily activities, or being stronger in certain movements that are kind of like unbalanced and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
like the muscles are always going to be there.
Right. So if you want to see your core, it's not about doing more exercises. It's about just eating differently, right?
Yeah, it's about losing that weight. Now, of course, that doesn't mean don't work out your core just because you don't have to. You still should. You should work out everything. as long as you can. But yeah, if it comes down to like actually just seeing the core, like visibly wise, that's just getting rid of that body fat that's around it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you should still be working at the core though, just to make it stronger.
Okay.
Because again, it's not just the front. It's
And
back
we
to
need to
side.
do that because, like, somewhere around in our mid-30s, that all those muscles start deteriorating, right?
I don't know if it's the exact like time frame for that. I don't have a number for it, but I know it does kind of start to happen slowly over time, depending on how active you are, and your diet has a big factor in that as well. But not only just a factor of like deterioration in the sense, but usually once people kind of get to that age, they like what's that saying? Like once you hit 30, then like everything kind of like starts to hurt, right?
Yeah.
Like from that somehow from 29 to 30, like your body completely changes, and then you're in like a new world now, which I think is a little bit of like a mental thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like people just realize that they're 30 and they're like, oh, I mean, I'm supposed to be hurting now.
Yeah, and then the pain
but
comes.
They
exactly.
also just, I think, slow down, at that age,
Mm-hmm.
because there's still this idea that is like doing certain things, workout, exercise wise, has to be done like between like 16 and like 25, and then like after that, like, oh, it's too old, I can't do it, like that's too fast for me, like I'm too old now, I got too much stuff going on, but you can do the exact same stuff that like someone the age 80 can do the exact same stuff that you're doing now, and there's a lot of elderly people that are still like powerlifting and Olympic lifting and like breaking records and everything. So I mean, there's no reason to stop at 30 just because you feel older. Like you need that stuff to last you your entire life.
Right. And I think a lot of it is that, well, I don't necessarily have the time to do that, where you had the time when you were in your early 20s.
You do, yeah. But I mean,
but it's in a kind of a little bit of an excuse there, right?
It is because you may not be making time for that. That means you're making time for something else, though.
Right.
You're always going to make time for something that I mean, if there's something you really want to do, like you really want to do it, you're going to find a way to do it, whether you get the time or not.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be the best thing for you to do. Like you may be choosing the wrong things in a sense, but you're always going to find time for the stuff that you want.
So basically, are you finding time to not potentially have pain? Because a weak core, first of all, that'll lead to also bad posture, right?
It does.
And what does bad posture do for you?
it does. Well, how many times have I corrected you on your posture?
Yeah, and again, that's from 20 years of sitting improperly,
I mean,
hunching
even
over.
like now,
Yeah.
we got like a little.
And it's
little
because we're sitting, and these
on.
chairs are forcing us
Mm-hmm.
to have this bad lean, and that's why we got 2 stand-up desks here.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you're always standing.
I do prefer to stand more
Yeah.
than sitting. I mean, I even like feel it in my legs after a while. They feel like fuller and like a little more, almost kind of like a balloon in a sense. Like I can feel that there's just like more like water and everything there because
When
I'm
you're standing?
sitting. No, like sitting.
Oh.
So like I have to stand and move, and like I get moving and I feel better.
Get that blood flow.
Even like when I was younger and doing my shows and everything, my trainer at the time, like in between like our sets and everything, and I would be, sitting there, just like this, like waiting, and he'd come over and smack me in the back, be like, get yourself up there.
Right.
Get that back up, get those shoulders, like you have the physique there, like show it off. Don't be hunched over like just, go ahead and get up there. So, I mean that along with the combination of a lot of strength training and a lot of like stability work over time, I think has helped me with have a consistent good posture. Like I don't have to think about it now. I just wake up and I go, and I know that I'm alright to be kind of like nice and upright, and everything's kind of like in line. Granted, there's times here and there, like I'm a little more tired, I might be hunched over more, but I've noticed a big difference with training core and kind of like not training core for as intense for a while on especially like a lot of certain exercises, like even just like getting the weight up, I can feel way more like unstable than like how I was like beforehand. So I mean, it's definitely something that you just gotta find the time for it. Always find the time for it. Like stretching after a workout and core, I think are the 2 things that people skip the most on, at least that I've seen.
Not arms.
People always go arms and chest. Always find a way to get up in the front.
But core and stretching.
Core and
is
stretch, and
potentially
I'm a
even
victim
more
of it.
important.
I've done it. I've
Because we
worked
want
out.
that, fuller chest, and we
Yeah,
want
we
those
can
bigger
put,
biceps.
You work out 2 hours, and you do a lot of stuff for back and chest and everything, and then you get to the end of the workout and you're like, I really have to stretch. I was supposed to do it yesterday. I was supposed to do abs yesterday too, but kind of tired. I can't wait to do it tomorrow,
Yeah.
And then tomorrow comes, and
you're
same
tired,
exact thing,
and
it's like, man, that was a
thing.
hard workout, it's already, it's like, oh, God, I gotta get home, like, yeah, I'll do core tomorrow. It's just kind of like, it keeps going. But starting off your workout with core is really good, really beneficial to kind of get that thing primed and ready to go. Probably one of the best things that you can do, especially if you're doing like heavy lifting.
So, and what would you do for that? What are the kind of exercises to prime it
I
up?
mean, there's a handful of different things. Like you can really never go wrong with any kind of plank, any kind of isometric or any like anti-rotation work is really good. Like those marches that I have you do, like where we're like really making sure that everything's kind of stacked.
And for those marches, I'm basically holding like a 35-pound kettlebell in one arm, just kind of letting it rest on the shoulder. And I'm doing like high knee raises with like a slight pause, and then walking across the room there and back.
You're like in marching band, but
Marching band.
more weight.
Yeah.
And a lot slower.
And those are tough, and you can feel like the entire body working, like all the muscles, everything's being stabilized and activated from the legs all the way up to the neck.
Yeah.
Everything. Even I even think like my brain is being activated.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of coordination and kind of balance and stuff going on there as well, but that's, part of it, like it's purposely trying to throw you off to where you have to correct it and kind of get into that proper alignment. So like a lot of anti-rotational stuff is good. A lot of those like dead bugs, bird dog things, like power press, those as well. Like I personally think, and there's some other higher end coaches, and everything that also agree that that anti-rotation for core is way better than anything else.
Anti-rotation, and a couple exercises that are anti-rotation.
Which is like Palop is
the Palop.
The marches are.
So the Palop press, that's where you can use either a band or a cable machine, and grab it, keep it centered in the middle of your chest, and take a wide step to the other side while keeping everything stabilized. And I notice when I'm even doing those, you gotta concentrate, and that's kind of like, you have to obviously concentrate on all the exercises, but let's just take for example, like when you're doing like a bench press, I feel like you're not necessarily concentrating as hard as when you're doing some of the core exercises where you have to also maintain this balance. And there's this like whole thing where, because it's your core and it encases the spine, that you're activating more neurons in the brain that are going down the spine and so on. So keeping that muscle also activated as you age and you're walking up the steps or whatever you may do, and having that neural balance is so important, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, the spine is almost kind of, I won't say in the same as the core, but it's just as important to work that as it is the core. People are so kind of like scared and worried about their back, and everything. So like everyone's always like, they're very afraid of like hunching over, but they want to keep like nice and upright. But like kind of training the spine to move in every little movement that it can is like the most beneficial thing that you can do. I don't know why people think that if something's weak and they keep it weak in the same plane without training it in any way, it's going to make it better.
Right.
But I guess I understand, because they're kind of like scared.
They're scared to
they're
pull
scared
something.
they don't want the pain.
But it's almost like you have to weigh the consequences of not doing that, and potentially, it's going to get worse if you don't if you don't do it right.
Yeah.
That's why even like doing yoga, that's a lot of spine and core.
It was very good. Any exercise or stretch that kind of like put your body in like a plane of motion that like you're not used to. Like I used to do a lot of training with clients where we would have weights and we would put them in strong positions like deadlifts or squats or something, and then we would take those weights that they have and like purposely offset them in like weird random like planes, so that they would have to stay in there and like kind of adjust for it and like accommodate for it. So like if have you ever like move stuff and like you go to like bend over and reach over like on one leg, and if you go to pull something, like all of a sudden you feel like you're just gonna like fall over the tip, so like even things like that, like putting them in that position and then taking a weight, having them move it around and kind of like strengthen in those very uncomfortable, like unbalanced planes and everything. And
where you have to literally think, okay, what am I adjusting for?
Yeah.
Versus just pushing or pulling.
Yeah.
Which that makes sense.
Kind of comes back to what we said in the start there. It's like there's so many different ways to work out. It's not just like strength or like muscle based.
There's so many different ways. There's so many. But the point of this podcast is, again, so you just bring awareness of how important working out your core, not just for the six pack is there, right? The way that you get there is you just eliminate the fat, but you still need to train it and keep it strong.
Just a muscle like anything else.
Just a muscle like anything else. To not have pain, to eliminate back pain, neck pain, all kinds of different pains, better posture, and so on. So what are your, let's say someone doesn't have access to any equipment, what are some of your top favorite at-home core exercises?
I said any of the planks are good, and like a normal plank.
So elbow plank, full plank, which is like push-up, straight arms,
hands,
side planks are good.
Planks, any variation of them, that kind of like makes it a little bit harder, like taking like the leg off, kind of thing. Doing a side plank on your hands. The bird dog is good. Dead bug is good.
And bird dog is where you're just like on all fours, and then you're lifting your right arm, your left leg back, opposite. Maybe a slight pause at the top, and then doing like, let's say 20 reps of those. Dead bug is just kind of the opposite, but on your back.
Yes. Yeah. Which something I guess with those exercises specifically, but pretty much any typical core exercise, is the debate on like if you're laying on your back and like you're doing like leg raises on the floor, like if you should get your back flat on the floor or if you should allow that arch for everything. And the debate forever has been like you need to learn to pull your stomach to the floor to get that flat back.
Right.
A lot of people do it. A lot of people preach it. Which I think I got this more from the Olympic side coaching and everything. And some other like mobility and physio kind of coaching is that you should actually allow that arch because that's natural arch and that's how we live with that natural, like we don't walk around trying to have our spine in a straight line and flat.
Yeah, that's true.
Like we have that natural arch, so we want to train in that plane. We don't want to try and force it out of there. Like why would we want to try and put it into a different angle that it's not used to as opposed to keeping it in what we normally live in, like our spine's not going to change, like shape, right? It's going to stay like so. We should keep it in that shape and train in there because that's what's most familiar with. Which, I try to preach that a lot to clients and everything because everyone always wonders, like, should I flatten out my back? Is it okay here? Like, this arch here? Like, should I fix that? And like, it's fine.
But
it's not bad.
Right. If you have that arch, then why not just keep it there?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Versus doing something that you're not used to having, right?
Right. It's not something that has seen, or at least from the stuff that like research and stuff that we have so far, that it's not seeming to make any like major benefit of changing it. Yeah. It's best to keep it in its natural state and just kind of train from there. And I guess also on the a little bit of the rant in the sense, what are your thoughts on hanging leg raises?
I personally like
on the ground.
No, I like hanging.
Yeah.
For myself, because I don't weigh that much, so it's easy for me to hang.
Right.
But I know for a lot of clients, it's not comfortable to hang. They actually feel it more in their shoulders or
Right.
hams.
Yeah,
Ham.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I personally love them.
Do you think the vast majority of people do them right?
I think I know the answer to this question. No.
No. What do you think they do?
What do I think they do? Do they go up too high?
Mm-mm.
They don't extend far enough lower, like extend their legs straight.
No, I mean, from the countless gyms that I've been to, and people, is that the amount of people that do hanging leg raises and work out their hip flexors more than their abs would be like 9 out of 10
Oh,
times.
because
Because like nobody, if their legs are here and they swing up to here and then back down.
right, and you need to get
that's all
higher
hip
up.
flexor. You know, like anything past your hips where your pelvic is tilting, that's your core.
Okay.
And I don't think I've seen one person, at least maybe one, back up like my home gym actually do that.
You know, that's a good point. Yeah, you got to bring those legs up higher.
You do. You got to get that tilted.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Because if you think about that same exercise from the floor, you're raising your legs higher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You should do some.
I will. As soon as right now.
Demonstration, right? Right and wrong.
I don't think the camera angle will grab
We
it.
can turn it. It's
We'll create a video on
Okay.
that. How about that?
fine. I like it. Debunk.
Okay, well, that's this podcast. Short and sweet, but very important. The importance of core strength and how really we should always train it, whether it's at home, maybe for 20 minutes, 3 times a week, or if you're doing it at the gym. By the way, a lot of exercises that are not quote unquote core exercises, you're still working out your core. Because I know, like, all the time when we're doing deadlifts and squats, you're always like, all right, Jeremy, concentrate, tight core, let's go.
Mm-hmm. That's that bracing.
Yeah.
Because there's that transverse abdominis in there, which is the like inner muscle of your core, to which no leg raise, no twists, anything like that is going to work it. The only way you're going to get it is from either doing like vacuum training or like bracing.
Yeah. So
like getting that intra-abdominal pressure in there, like before your lifts, number one, you're also saving your back. So like you're not going to hurt anything or have any damage there. But you're also working up your core at the same time. There's a lot of lifters. Actually, a friend of mine who is a strength coach, he doesn't do any core workout besides his squat, bench, and deadlift. Like that's the only type of core that he gets.
Yeah. So, the whole stigma of like, deadlifts are not good for you, squats. Sure, they're not good for you if you don't do proper form, but they're super beneficial.
I mean, technically, exercise isn't good for you either if you're going that state. But in the long run, it's good for you. But in a short, like little burst, exercise technically isn't good for
well, because it's stressing your body.
Yeah.
Right, but we need that stress.
Mm-hmm.
We need that stress. That's good stress right there. Not like some of the other
The
stress.
only good stress.
Yeah, no, that's good stress. And you get that good feeling after, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to go find out here pretty soon.
Okay, well, I'll let you go get your workout in, and thanks for listening. Podcast 55. Again, if you guys have any questions, want to reach out, find us, leave a message. We'll hit you back. All right, guys, thanks.